Hey, it's me. It's Wednesday. It's supervision day. It's 8 o'clock. I've got about an hour and a half to drive all the way down to South River for supervision. And this is what I usually do when I'm hosting supervision every 2 months. Once it's over, we stop at 3:30. I go to the Goodwill and in South River, and or is it Sayreville, New Jersey, and then I stop by the Second Avenue Thrift store in Union, and that's what I'm gonna do. So I got about an hour and a half to drive. I'm gonna stop by and get donuts on the way in because yeah, it's a group, and we'll have a good time. Actually, we're doing a Halloween special today, and everybody gets to put on something. So I got this. It's my attic. I'm dressed like my attic. Yeah, so that's what I'm wearing. That's it. That's the extent of my Halloween, okay? Switch glasses and ready to go. So when I see you again, it'll be past 3:30 and I'll be ready to go thrifting, and you're coming with me. It's 3:36 and supervision is over. So now we're gonna start. I'm at the Goodwill in East Brusnswick, New Jersey, which is literally 8 minutes away from South River. And this is a very small Goodwill. It has a donation center, but it's small. Only has like a few aisles, but I found quite a few things in there, in particular pottery. So there's somebody in the area who is a pottery collector or was a pottery collector, and then once in a while there's a dump of pottery in that place. This is where I found the gander vase, tulip vase, and the John Shedd vase. Found that here. My current pattern that I'm using right now, my white plates from Mikasa, found here. And I'm trying to think. Oh! One of my Madonnas I found here. I found the one and only Madonna that I have that's also a music box, and making my collector friends quite envious because they didn't even know that Hager did a Madonna that was a music box. So I have that, and I found it here. That was my second Madonna actually, a long time ago. Anyway, what am I looking for? The usual pottery, vintage stuff to put in the shop, small. I've learned the hard way with the trays that when the items are in odd shape, it is impossible to wrap, and it's also very costly in terms of the shipping. So I'm not gonna do big things anymore unless it's like super rare. But I'm also gonna look for 78s. I hope they have some. The other shop, the Second Avenue Thrift Shop, probably does have 78s because they do have a really big section for books and records. This one not so much, but I'm gonna look for 78s. If you watch the video where I take you trash picking, I found a phonograph, not a gramophone. I call it a gramophone, but it's a phonograph, and it obviously works. I purchased needles to go on the head, the voice box, that's what they call it, and or sound box, and they were really cheap. They were $4.95 for 100 of them. I got that on Etsy. It's coming up sometimes this week, hopefully. So I gotta buy at least one 78 to see whether or not this thing works, because if it does, I'm gonna clean it up and sell it. Though I have a feeling Scott's gonna want to keep it because it's really cool. Anyway, without further ado, let's walk into the Goodwill and see what we can find. If you find me. Welcome to Goodwill, and thank you for joining me for yet another Thrift with Me episode. I love doing this. You know, I find it to be very relaxing, and I'm going to try to make the video as relaxing as possible. I want you to enjoy looking at all this stuff and perhaps seeing some treasures and getting an idea of what it's like to be a reseller. You know, I keep on saying this, but I could totally see myself doing this full time during my retirement years. Oh, look at this! We have another kidney crystal ball. I left it behind. Thank God, I just remembered I left my glasses right there. I would have been looking for them for a good hour afterwards. So I turned things over and I used the Google imaging, reverse image to find out if things are vintage enough. But I have to say, Goodwill is becoming more and more difficult to shop at. And those little candelabras, they wanted $20 each for them. There's no way I would be able to resell them. This is the kind of stuff you can find at Home Goods or TJ Maxx, so it was not worth it. So what am I looking for? I'm looking for vintage stuff, and by vintage I mean at least 30, 40 years and beyond. Anything that is prior to the 1980s. And it has to be an item that is special, that I like, that I know that you would like, and also an item that I could make a profit of. So here's an example of something that actually sells quite well. This is Italian pottery. They made them very popular in the mid-70s to mid-80s. It was in good shape. Goodwill wanted way too much money for it. I like to be able to sell things 3 times more than what I purchased, and it's also huge and heavy, so I have to take that into account. And here's another example of a over-the-top price for Goodwill. They wanted $20 for that, so I left it behind. Well, what do we have here? It's a red wing rooster teapot, and I think this is either 40s or 50s. They were actually quite popular, and I looked all over for a creamer and a sugar, didn't find it, but yes, this baby is coming home with me. Oh, this is so unusual. So this is a stainless steel tray that has an insert that is actually handmade stained glass, and I had to take it. I just had to pick it. I think this is really, really cool, very different. I am sure somebody is going to want it. Now this one was okay, it's fine. You know, I love pottery, but for some reason this one just didn't wow me, so I just put it back. This particular Goodwill has a lot of pottery, and I always find good stuff in here, but this one wasn't feeling it. Now that's interesting, but again, very heavy to ship. This is Anchor Hocking. This is mid 70s, early 80s. I left it behind. Those little dishes here, nut dishes, they were from Austria, hand painted, really pretty. It was a whole stack of them, but I don't know what anyone would do with those. They are just a bunch of little plates. If I had cups, if I had bowls, if I had maybe like a larger bowl, I could make a set out of it, so I left them behind. Those Lennox, not vintage enough for me, and they are not rare at all. Those were mass produced. This, I believe, is an Avon. It's milk glass. It's really dirty. It's gonna have to get clean. I ended up leaving it behind, and I tell you why. I didn't like the seam. It was just too obvious. All right, let's go into the glass section. This is where I spend most of my time. And we have not only one, but we have a second one coming soon. These are Swan bowls, and they're a pair. I left them behind only because this is from the 80s, early 90s. Not very impressive, but pretty cool. I left them as a pair. At Goodwill, I find that people put stuff all over the place, so you always have to search and search and search, because you always find a matching pair. This picture was pretty good. I put it on top to take a picture, but I left it behind. However, this is a Duncan Miller from the 60s, and that one I picked because I think it's a very nice vase. I like the pattern on it, and Duncan Miller is one of those companies that is fairly collectible. And yes, I did pick the Silver Crest Fenton tier dish, and it actually came with a matching bowl I found at a little time, but you're not going to see in this video. This bowl was from the 50s, discovered dish, but it had a lot of chips, so I left it behind. And then there was this dilemma. This is a German crystal vase. I thought it was really, really neat. It's somewhat vintage, but too heavy to ship, so I left it behind. These are Libby glasses, too many of them on the internet, nothing special about them. This vintage bowl with the bamboo design thought was really, really neat, but the base itself, the silver plated base, was just too damaged. This one, very nice, but again, I'm afraid that items like this end up staying in my shop for far too long. I'm really looking for items that I can move. Nice cut glass, had a couple of chips, left it behind. This one I ended up not picking, and I regret it. It very much looks like a Cambridge glass rose point. It's 1930s, 1940s. It was absolutely stunning. I don't remember why I didn't pick it. I think it's because they were asking for too much money. Now it's $13. Now this, I'm still thinking about it. This is an early American brilliant cut sugar, and it came with the creamer. And I checked them out online, and they worth quite a lot. The problem is that the creamer had chips all over the rim. So I could have taken just the sugar and call it a day, but I didn't want to separate them because I know that somebody is going to want to pick them up. And I don't like to take just one item and leave the twin behind. So I ended up leaving them behind. I'm still thinking about it. Here's another one of those kidney bowls. I think that we're going to be seeing quite a lot of those. Finally, I knew I was going to find a nice piece of vintage pottery. So this cache-pot I checked online, and apparently it is French. So that was Goodwill. Did you see how much early American Brilliant cut glass they had? I really wanted to pick that creamer and sugar, but the creamer had a lot of chips on the rim. I checked it out on the internet. I could literally, if it was in good shape, sell it for over $270, but it has chips. Collectors don't want chipped pieces. They just don't, especially when intact ones are available. So I didn't take it. The German vase, what's the name of it? Blind crystal, something like that. Super heavy, beautiful, quite worth quite a lot as well. But I don't know, too heavy. It was too heavy. It was over 2.5, 3 pounds just for the vase. And then there was other pieces. So I picked the Duncan Miller because that's a more, it's pressed glass. It's not cut. I picked that. And then I picked that plate. I just finished saying before we walked in that I wasn't going to take trays anymore. That tray is really unusual. It literally has a bottom part, you saw that, right? That's stained glass, and it's handmade. It's a butterfly. It's really unusual. So all right, so I said I'll pick them if they're unusual. So that was one. The Silver Crest Fenton glass, perfect condition. Some people collect. And then the French pot. Now, how do I know it's French? I have no idea. But I saw it twice online, because when I'm in the store, by the way, I'm taking pictures and I'm doing Google search and I'm researching. All right, I'm taking my time. I don't know what time it is now. I went in there, it was 3:36. It's 4:57. That's how long it takes for me to do the store. And then I found that pot twice, and each time they were selling them as French pottery. So I don't know who makes them, but that's coming up. And then what else did I get? I think that's it. The vase, the platter, the 2 silver crest. Oh, the rooster. That's Red Wing pottery. That's really cool. I was hoping to find the creamer and the sugar matching it. They weren't there. That's okay. It's still a really cool teapot, and it's in good shape. So now I'm going to the 2nd Avenue thrift store. Oh, and there was no 78s, only 33 LPs. I'll find one, I'm sure. All right, I'll see you at the 2nd Avenue thrift store. Oh man, no joke, it took forever to get here. It's 6 o'clock. There was a big accident on 109, and it took quite a while to get here. But anyway, I'm at the 2nd Avenue thrift store. It's a chain, so you should be able to find one in your area. And I do find quite a lot of stuff here. They also have a great selection of clothes, because yes, most of my clothes I buy. Oh, as a matter of fact, this silk blouse, I got it here, like $4.99. Lots of vintage. There's a lot of, plastic stuff, really cheap stuff, but there's a lot of vintage. All my Hager I found here. All of the Schumann Hasberg that I've been selling on the shop, I found here. The Waterford, I believe I found here. No, that was a Goodwill. What else did I find here? A whole bunch of stuff. Okay, so let's go in. Alright, so here are all the books. I'm gonna go straight to the records. Over there, and see if I can find a 78. Oh man. Okay, so there's a lot of 33s, and this is the only 78 I found, and it's broken. So, nope, that won't do. King Porter Foxtrot. Oh, too bad. I think I'm gonna have to go online. Oh, that's an LP. Alright, they don't have any 78. No Foxtrot. Yeah, that's a 33. Alright. Oh well. Oh, what about this? What's going on over there? No, that's a 33. Ugh. Alright. Let's go shop. So it's not a very good night at the 2nd Avenue Thrift Shop. I have to say there's a lot of nonsense and a lot of broken items this time around. This, I believe, is one of those communion prayer thing that you bring home. It has a compartment where you can put the holy water and a candle, matches, stuff like that. A single may have been Westmoreland, I would have preferred to have 2 of those milk glass candelabras. This is the candle section. I never find anything interesting in here. There's a lot of seasonal decor, but there was this, and I almost picked it. This is a milk glass swan. I said I was going to pick up all the swans, all right? But this one, the paint was all faded and I passed. I think if you were to scratch off everything and just make it all white, it probably would work. This was actually very pretty, but it was just like one of those things, again, that you can find at TJ Maxx, Home Goods, Home Sense, all of those stores. Nice piece though, the glaze on it was very pretty. This is a Butterfly Meadow Lenox cachepot, and I did pick it. You'll find out later on that I ended up putting it back on the shelf because it's mass produced and it's still very current. This is not something that's vintage. This one is a Mikasa. It's a very pretty vase and I did pick it, but again, it's one of those things that is fairly current. Still has a sticker on it. It's really nice. So I picked it, and towards the end I ended up putting it back on the shelf only because, and I think I mentioned that at the end of the video, you can still find those on Amazon. This is nothing special or rare. And I don't really have a formula as to how I pick. I know a lot of people have asked me that, like, how do you know what to pick? I don't know. I really don't know. I go by feeling, and if I like it and I think that somebody else would, I would definitely pick it. Now this decanter, it can be cleaned, you know, you just put the vinegar and stuff. I wish I had the stopper because I would have picked that. I feel like I finally found something. These are Irish coffee mugs. It's a set of 4 by my favorite stoneware company, Otagiri, Japan. These are late 60s, early 70s, and yes, I picked them. So those will be in the shop probably in the next 2 weeks. I looked at the glassware. It's very difficult to pick glassware. First of all, it's very hard to pack, and I'm always concerned that there's going to be some breakage. But I have to say that the Second Avenue Thrift Shop, if you're looking for replacement Libby glasses, for instance, or any of your regular day-to-day glasses, or if you want to just pick a new set, they have a ton of them. These are all sets of glasses. Every era, they have 80s, 40s, 50s, 60s, sometimes a little bit older. Lots of beer, lots of stemware. And if you like vintage glass, they're very good for that. I mean, look at these. These are really, really nice. I'm not sure what they're for. Cordials, I think, with the etch finish on it. So yeah, I would say they're very good for replacement pieces. So if you have a Second Avenue thrift shop in your area and you're looking to have new glassware for your table for day to day, oh yes, I did pick that, but that's for me. They're really good for that. Now look at the section for just the dishes, the plates and the creamers and the sugar bowls. I could spend hours in here. You have to sort through it. You have to lift a lot of stuff. Sometimes you find pottery, but I do find vintage bowls. One of the ones that I found and kept for the household actually was a 1940s Roseville, really large bowl. That thing weighs a ton. This is a CEDAR, Andrea by CEDAR. I just picked one at the garage sale, so I don't need 2. And plus this one didn't come with the box. And that's the kind of stuff that I think that people buy and want to gift. So having the box is bonus. These were kind of cool actually, those little plates with the bowl attached to it. I'm not sure how old they are, but again, this is glass. It's hard to ship. Lots of crystal, regular Czechoslovakia, Poland crystal. These are almost picked because you see the little bowl. I did have a set of 4 or 5 that I sold, and I thought that maybe I should pick those as well, but it was just one large bowl and the little one, I left it behind. Luncheon set, diamond pattern, very nice, missing the cups. Lots and lots and lots of platters. You know, I love those. I have too many, I think. And it's very heavy, odd shape to pack and ship. Now this one, I could have picked it. This is a Royal Doulton. I have the larger version of this that is in my shop, and it's been there for a long time. So if the large one is not selling, I thought that maybe I need to leave the small one behind. Here we have some Nippon. It's missing the lid for the teapot. This is pretty cool, but I believe it had a broken piece. Now these village ceramic, I don't know. I know that they're collectibles. The problem is that they've been faked a lot, and there's a lot of copycats out there. I am not that savvy when it comes to this stuff. These are all plastic pitcher. The 1950s one is really cool, but it is missing its lid, so forget it, or the stopper, whatever you call it. I love those. The pink ones. I can't remember what year they are, but I think the 1940s. These are very, very nice. Here's some Fiesta, 3 plates, 2 cups. You can find it on Etsy very easily. Cookie jar is pretty neat. And then I found these, and these I picked for myself actually. They've been washed and we're using them. OXO, I mean $3.99. That was a good deal. I actually picked all 6 of them. That's the section with all the Tupperware. I don't know about Tupperware. I'm not very savvy when it comes to it. This was interesting. It's a obviously it was a liquor bottle. I didn't pick it, but I thought it was pretty cool. Oh look, we got another swan. I don't know. It looked a little bizarre to me, so I left it behind. The cookie jar, very vintage, very kitsch. Lots of people are looking for those, but look, the rim was just too broken. I left it behind. Then I saw the apple, or is it a peach? Very nice too, but same thing. Lots of broken pieces on the inner rim. And then this one is a hard one to figure out because it's a 1960s warmer tray with the cornflower pattern. 1, does it work? 2, I don't know if it's really discolored, so I left it behind. Well, that's it, and there literally was nothing at the 2nd Avenue thrift store today. I mean, there was some, but it wasn't vintage enough. I ended up leaving the little Mikasa vase and the Lenox flower pot. Again, easy to find online. You can go on Amazon and find them still today, so it's not vintage enough for me. But I did snatch those 4 Otagari Irish coffee mugs because those are cool. And all the OXO sealed containers. And by the way, I know I haven't shown the pantry yet, but I entirely redid the pantry and everything is sealed in lock and lock containers, all of it. But I do need extra containers. I don't care if they'll match. For cornmeal, you know, like the little stuff. Maybe I actually got more containers than I need, but you never know. As the holiday come in, we're probably going to buy new supplies or some stuff for recipes that's going to need to be contained. And since I've done that, which was I don't know, maybe 3 weeks ago. No moths, because I super cleaned and disinfected the pantry. So far it looks like I finally got rid of the moths, and it wasn't a lot, but I did have to get rid of a lot of food that got affected. So I'm going home, and that is it. All right, so what did I get? I got the Otagari 4 mugs, the coffee mugs. I got that big tray with the stained glass in the center, which is removable. I got the French planter, pottery planter, the Silvercrest tier stand, the Silvercrest little bowl, the Red Wing rooster teapot, and I think that's it. So what, like 6-7 items? Just about. Okay, I'm going home. I gotta edit some stuff. That was it. So I do this little trip, Goodwill and 2nd Avenue thrift store, every 2 months. That's the only time I can come because it's really far from the house. It's on the way back home. I'm about half an hour from home now. So off I go. I hope you enjoyed this. I will see you in the next video. Like, thumbs up if you liked it. Check out my Esty Shop, Frenchie and Tubby, if you saw something today that you're interested in getting. It's going to be posted within the next month, probably before the holidays, hopefully. And there's plenty other stuff to look at. Thank you for watching. I'll talk to you later. Bye.